Welcome back, guys. So now that we understand how the file system is organized in Unix, let us learn a few elementary file related commands. We would first learn how to create files. There are two commands to do so, touch and cat, and this is how they are to be used. First, touch, type touch sample. This is the file name and this is the command touch. Okay, so it will create a file called sample in somewhere. Okay, so I will just type pwd. It stands for path working directory and it will tell you where are you. It means where are you present in the path working directory. What is your path working directory currently you are in? So I'm in home and Gourav. I will open home and Gourav, and as you can see the sample file has been created. Okay, so I don't want this, delete it. Yes, I want to delete it, close it. Okay, so pwd stands for path working directory. Cool. Next, go to cd desktop. cd stands for change directory. It means that I want to go to desktop directory. Here you can find desktop directory, home, Gourav, and there you go, desktop directory. Here, right now we are here according to our terminal. Okay, so cd stands for change directory. So we have learned path working directory and cd. Now comes to touch, and again I will create touch sample, and now you can see the sample. Okay, so I have created a file called empty file called sample. This creates a file called sample. However, the size of the file would be 0 bytes since touch doesn't allow you to store anything in a file. Then, does touch serve any purpose? Yes, of course, when we want to create several empty files quickly. This can be done by saying touch sample1, sample2, sample3, and there you go. All these files have been created. Come back to that. If we want to store a few lines in a file, then cat will come into play. Just type cat, then angular braces, and then angular bracket. I don't know what these names. Okay, whatever it is, angular bracket or angular braces, whatever. Cat this, and then file name, test, for example, and you can write anything. It will wait for you to type the matter that you want to store in the file named test. Okay, so type anything. Hey, how's my tutorials? Okay, so just press Ctrl D when you're done, and that's it. The file has been created and there will be the content. There you go. Here's how's my tutorial. This content has been displayed already. Okay, so now to see the contents of the file test that we created, you can simply do cat test and it will display all the contents of the file that we have created above. Now if we want to concatenate the contents of two files and store them in the third file, how do we do this? Cat will also come into play. Cat serve this purpose too. Just type cat file, first file name, maybe sample1, sample2, and we want to create it in new sample. Okay, so all the contents of sample1 and all the contents of sample2 will get concatenated, and the concatenated content will be stored in new sample file. And right now I don't have any content in these files. Just type anything you want to do. Okay, that will be enough. Save. And this is from sample2. That will be enough. Okay, so whenever I click on enter, the new sample file will be created, and when you click on it and see the contents has been concatenated from sample1 and sample2 file. Okay, and you can view like this also, as I have already told you. Cat new sample. Cool, isn't it? Okay, so from this, if new sample already contains something, it would be overwritten by this symbol. Okay, so if you want that it should remain intact and the contents of sample1 and sample2 should get appended to it, then you should use the append output redirection operator, that is this symbol. Okay, so this is for appending, and if you don't use and use the only single one, it will get overwritten. I will show you what I mean. First of all, I will write something in cat sample3 just for test case. Oh, sorry, cat sample3. That is how we write. Okay, no, that will be hard to remember. This is from sample3. Cool. Control D and cat sample3 to view the contents of the file sample3. Okay, now I will quickly show you the example of appending redirection operator. Cat sample1 and sample3 append to new sample. Okay, so whenever I click on new sample, and as you can see, this was the old concatenation and this is the new concatenation, and this has not been overwritten and this has been appended actually, and this is correctly concatenated too from sample1 and sample2. If I have not done this redirection operator and use this single operator, then you can see the contents are overwritten, and the latest one are the contents that it holds, new sample. Okay, so this is how you do. This is how you create files in Unix. Now comes down to copying a file. Okay, so let's say I want to copy sample1 content to sample2. Okay, so what will it do? This will copy the contents of sample1 into a file sample2. If sample2 doesn't exist, it will be created. However, if it does exist, Unix takes the liberty to overwrite it without warning you. So I had something in sample1, this content. Okay, so change it. This is from sample1. Cool. Save. And I have the contents called, this is from sample2 in sample2 file. And whenever I type this command cp sample1 sample2, then I want to view contents of sample2, just type simply this, and you can see this is from sample1. The contents of the sample1 has been copied into contents of sample2. The contents of sample1 is copied into sample2. Now look at the following command like this, sample1, sample3, and we need to go create sample. Okay, so what this command will do, all files mentioned are copied to the indicated directory, provided that the directory letter exists. This must be exist. Both files sample1 and sample3 would be copied to this directory. Okay, so we don't have any directory right now named sample. We create it sample. The item could not be renamed. Sample is already used in this folder. Okay, so name it something. Rename, maybe Gourav. That suits better. Okay, so name it as Gourav. So all the contents of sample1 and the sample1 and sample3 both files are copied into the directory called Gourav. Now go to Gourav, and as you can see, sample1 and sample3 has been copied.